This Week in Action.
Nothing like the great outdoors, huh?
Could be something.
Talk to the developers.
Are you playing with my emotions?
Let's get sad and then
Feel good to be true.
That's not what they did here. When's the money going?
what other horror stories can come with this?
We love Tencent.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Action Podcast 32. My name is Aaron, owner and operator of the YouTube channel Action RPG, and as always, we have a stellar night planned for you. With me is two of my friends, two of my leaders, the people that actually run this channel, Daft and Guilty. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hey guys, nice to be back.
Heyo.
Now, in case you noticed, maybe there wasn't a live stream last week. It's because of, it was Daft's fault.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yep.
All right,
Woke up on
fine,
the
it
wrong
was
side of the
Guilty's fault. That was the reason why we didn't stream. He said that he couldn't find his beanie, and then, you know, when that happened, we had to cancel it.
Right. Yes.
All right, what was
Nothing
the
to do
real
with
reason?
camping. Nothing to do with camping.
Maybe I was
think
glamping.
Yeah, it's glamping.
That is right. Glamping.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with glamping with the family once in a while.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
If we went now, we'd probably do more of a glamping. When I used to go camping all the time, we did camping. We'd like hike in at midnight, so we used full moon to walk the trail to the place. Good times. But yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
it was fun.
It was a really good time.
A long time ago.
It was kind of it's my side of the family's family reunion. We go camping at the certain location every single year, same month of the year. But I feel like when you go camping with 11 children, however many it is, you need a vacation from your vacation because it's not ultra relaxing. It's great in the standpoint of like, you know, you don't have service. So it's kind of good to like get away from technology for a while and spend time with the family. And you can, you know, you hike and you fish and you swim and all of that good stuff. But, you know, the kids are like annihilated tired.
So a few weeks, about a month ago or a little less than that, your wife's family was at your house, all 76 of them. Yep. Perfectly housed in your house. So your family chooses the whole camping thing. Very cool.
And my family's coming over for Thanksgiving. Her family is just an extra sibling and an extra like 8 kids. So it's just, she's just, her family's just bigger.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
I don't know if I could do it, but yeah.
And we'll see. Maybe I've got some stories about the camping trip later. Okay. Believe it or not, here we do talk about video games. And to start this podcast, as always, we're going to start with our weekly poll. Now, if you don't know what our weekly poll was, let me get it pulled up right here. 1,000 votes, and this poll was posted 2 days ago, okay? 1,000 votes posted 2 days ago. Favorite non-ARPG genre. So if you're not talking about basically hack and slash, isometric, and I know ARPG is like a vast category, what would be your second favorite? Okay, what would be your second favorite? Or maybe ARPG isn't even your favorite. What is your non-ARPG favorite? Now, we're going to go through the 5, okay? So we had basically Rogue, and that's roguelite or like. We had MMORPG, we had CRPG/JRPG, strategy, and first-person shooter. And coming in last place with 10% of the vote was strategy. Now, Guilty, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Daft before we started.
What's up?
What is strategy? Because a strategy game could literally be all of them that were on there. And that's what made me think that's why I got the least amount of votes, because it's not easily defined. Thoughts?
Okay, so when you're playing chess, ideally you're wanting to think a few moves ahead.
Daft said chess. When I asked him, give me an example of a strategy game, he said chess.
Same thing.
It's the Western standard for strategy. It's the easiest. It's the easiest to go to. But for instance, I think Apple's chess program takes 256 seconds to make a decision.
Okay.
and you gotta think it's running the board how many times in 6 seconds?
A million times.
Right.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. That's at max level. That's what strategy is. You're making a plan. You're strategizing ahead. Whereas you could do that in an ARPG if you like look at the there is a strategy aspect to those games.
When I think of strategy, my brain immediately goes to RTS.
Well, yeah, but that's like chess.
Yeah,
exactly.
Strategy.
You have to think ahead, and you have to be able to react. So that's again the going back to chess. It's not just like planning, but you have to be reactionary. Because if you move your pawn to e4 or whatever, they could counter and do something. You have to be able to counter what they do.
Yeah,
that's where the strategy comes from. It's not like a shooter.
Do you think if instead of writing strategy, we wrote RTS, it would have got more votes?
Probably, because there's more RTS players that'll associate with it a little better. Even though, like what Guilty's saying, it's like a strategy game's like a broad thing. So there's certain types of strategy games. One of the ones though that people play through on our channel, like in our Discord, are RTS, and they'll associate with it that way.
Real-time strategy.
Exactly. I mean, it's in the name.
I should have put strategy / RTS, even though I know that doesn't make sense. Okay, last place, strategy. Coming in 4th place, or second to last. And I think Guilty's the one that's mad about this. Maybe Daft, I don't remember. One of you two are mad about this.
I'm not mad, I just think it's funny.
CRPG / JRPG came in 4th, second to last, with 13% of the vote.
So I think the reason you put those together is because they are traditionally turn-based, or many of them are. That's the only reason I think they could go together.
Well, they look alike.
Well, they don't.
Right.
But,
no, I mean the actual wording of the letters look alike.
Yeah, the letters look alike. But they are both turn-based, or at least many of them are turn-based, and they're both
JRPGs aren't normally turn-based.
No, CRPGs.
CRPGs.
Yes. Yeah, the combat at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and both of the like JRPG and the CRPG usually have a very dense narrative. I actually voted for this one. It's my go-to, specifically for Disco Elysium at this point, and Disco Elysium for the 3rd year in a row won the #1 slot from PC Gamer out of their top 100.
Nice.
Hey, and you have a magazine membership to PC Gamer.
I do. I sent you guys a picture of the centerfold of it winning #1 and beating Elden Ring.
I know. I saw the article.
It beat Elden Ring.
You love that.
Yeah, I do. I both games are good. I just feel that the narrative tools that are in Disco Elysium are not in other games. It's pretty unique. The way you build your characters. Unique.
With the popularity of like a Baldur's Gate, I thought CRPG would do better. Now, again, I feel like sometimes it's hard to figure out which category falls into what, right? How many people know that Baldur's Gate even is a CRPG? But I still thought, classic role-playing game would do a little better.
It's just the community is more, I think, personally geared towards action games. They might play these games, but I think overall first-person shooters and, obviously ARPGs and things of that nature are going to go way higher just because it's more of them.
Play them,
right.
Posers played every Baldur's Gate game known to man. Like and so is several of our players, but hack and slash isometric ARPGs are their bread and butter.
I don't know if he's ever played Baldur's Gate. He might have played Baldur's Gate.
Listen here, person that lives on the West.
Guy.
Listen here, fella.
I only know this because I got destroyed in the comment section when I made a Baldur's Gate video and I didn't call it Baldur's Gate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't pronounce it the way they do in the Midwest.
I know. Moving on to third place, right in the middle of the 5, with 16% of the vote is first-person shooters. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, if this poll was done on a different channel, I'm sure this would win by a mile.
Right.
But, I mean, everybody plays first-person shooters. I mean, I guess not everyone.
Today.
Yeah, you were today. We were talking about how I used to be obsessed with Battlefield 1942. And what other game? GoldenEye. Man, those are so old. And Perfect Dark. It's also really old.
Fantastic. Elvis was awesome.
I was never into Call of Duty.
One of my earliest was Medal of Honor.
Yeah, I
I
like that
used.
one.
That's the first one. I played that online, and then I played the first Call of Duty.
Oh,
online.
and then of course all the Halos. Like I was like, I'm missing something here.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, there's tons. Go
I
on for
played
days.
the first time I ever played a Gears of War game is Gears of War 2. I played co-op with my best friend in high school. Or best friend from high school, rather. This was after high school. We sat down in his game room and went through the entire game. And I walked away thinking that Gears of War was just this gem that I've never got to play because I didn't have an Xbox at the time.
Gears is hard. The game was hard.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was we sat down like the entire day playing through the entire second game.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I played it.
Recap for this week in action podcast 32. Right now we are starting off with our weekly poll. The poll was favorite non-ARPG genre. Last place was strategy, second to last was CRPG/JRPG, third place was first person shooter, which brings us to second place. And where my vote fell, rogues, roguelite or roguelike. And
Good.
I will start with this category. For me, why I like it so much is because normally I can like get in and play them fast and have immediate fun and then stop playing them. And I just feel like we're like inundated with how many rogues there are, so I get such a large variety of kind of the same style of game. And then we have the introduction of vampire survivors, so now you have these kind of auto battlers and you know the
Rogue
Hades of the
mashup.
worlds, and Endless Dungeon is coming now, and all these different
Space
games.
Pope.
And Space Pope.
Space Pope is coming. There's tons. I mean, it's a very heavy in the last 4 or 5 years, like genre. It's just been getting bigger, and people are sprouting out ideas.
Well, I think
Yeah.
I think also
Rogue
it's
Legacy.
easy for an indie studio to create a rogue,
Right.
and I think it's easier to actually be financially successful as an indie studio making a rogue, comparing to try and compete with a Diablo, you know, which like alas the Epoch tried to do.
Well, you know how last Epoch succeeded. They're in the conversation.
Right.
For
That's all you
sure.
need.
Ziz gave them love. Ziz isn't like he's a believer.
I'm a believer. That's true.
Also, it's not bad. It's not a bad game. So many ARPGs, like you can go and find an indie ARPG and they're just not good.
That's true.
Like it's seldom that they're good. Like Chronicon's good, Floromancer's good. There was that what was that MMO ARPG? Oh man.
Lost Ark.
No, it was the top-down pixel art. We were all playing it. Hero Siege. Hero Siege was
Hero
good.
Siege.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those were all top-down pixel art games.
What about Minecraft
Going
Dungeons?
3D.
Minecraft Dungeons.
Right, but like going the route that last Epoch did,
Yep.
where you essentially have a 3D world. You have to have everything look good. You have to be, your lighting has to be good because you know at that point you're making the visuals have meaning aside from just having an interesting art aesthetic. Now you have to have dynamic lighting. You have to have things that look good. You can't have shiny Carl Urban all the time. Thank God they replaced that. the plastic toy model that used to be in the game is gone.
Well, when you're competing with
Clean
a
it up.
D4, what's the budget of Diablo 4?
In unlimited.
More or less, I'd say.
Yeah, they would
100
just go
million?
and get more
100 million?
unlimited. Anything they wanted, they can go get
Whatever
more,
they
more
needed.
financiers. Yeah, there's no limit.
How much
They'll go with-
will it end up? Actually, they don't have to post that. You have no idea how much D4 will cost.
We'll
They
never
could go
know.
and get
Yeah.
they could go and get backers on top of backers on top of backers. All they have to do is say we're
Silent
Blizzard.
partners, yeah, the whole thing.
We will make $1 billion in the first
Yeah.
week.
And they probably will.
I know
Maybe.
they will. I know.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, we're not talking about ARPGs right now. All right.
Right.
Coming in
Yes.
number 1, favorite non-ARPG genre with 41% of the vote. Literally in a league of its own, because really Rogue, CRPG, JRPG, strategy, and first-person shooter, they're all
Combined,
within
yeah.
kind of 6 points of each other. And then out there on their own is MMORPG. I'm not surprised.
Not really. I figured it would because of World of Warcraft.
Yep.
Right.
Because of all the Blizzard offerings that are out there, the only one that I even remotely care about, and it's not a lot of care. It's like enough care for me just to want closure on it. Is World
Right.
of Warcraft. And it's because I want them to finish the game. I want it to stop.
Be done. Be done with
Just-
this.
And I want to say, yes, this is it. I can put a bow.
Right.
It's done. And I can not play it again.
You want a nice little top on it. Says, I played it, I concluded, I'm happy with the end result. Yeah. I get
Got a
it.
couple characters to max on final. Out.
I also feel like, just from an education and knowledge standpoint, most PC gamers know what an MMO is.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that
Yes.
goes into it. Most of them have probably played Lost Ark or WoW or Star Wars Galaxies, or name whatever old or new
Star Trek
Right.
Online.
new world, right? Like, it's
You guys.
And it's
Yeah, or
typically
Eve.
well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, and also MMOs are typically games you fall back. Well, a lot of us fall back into. They don't play them like constantly. They're games
We
we
leave
play
them.
when there's nothing
Right.
else on. So you're just like, oh, I'll go load into my Guild Wars 2 and play for a little while, or
Guild
whatever.
Wars 2's making a comeback. Big
Guild
time.
Wars 2 is very fun. Angor got me to play it. I thoroughly enjoy that game.
Yep.
That's
Did you get your turtle?
I didn't get the War Turtle yet, but I do want the War Turtle. But like that in that game, you can make friends. World of Warcraft, you can kind of make friends, and then everyone wants to get into raiding, and then it becomes a race to, oh, you didn't
Right.
run Torghast this week, and oh, you didn't do that, and then it's just they ruined World of Warcraft that crap. But you don't have to do that with Guild Wars 2.
There's
you kind of had to do that. You had to
Dude,
keep up with the
there's
Joneses. in terms
so
of being
many
able to-
MMOs, because then you got like Black Desert.
Right.
Oh,
But
They're
what
shutting
about,
down the servers for Elion. Did you hear about that? Bye bye.
Okay. Isn't Bless?
Oops, it was
Bless,
terrible, but yeah.
The latest Bless is also getting shut down again.
Bless Unleashed.
Really?
I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear about that. It wouldn't surprise me because other games came out.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
it's getting the pooty treatment.
So, speaking about guilds and all this, one of the guild leaders in Eve quit. He had some allegations against him, and he was a guild leader for a guild that's one of the oldest guilds in the game.
Mm.
So that's how, I guess, integral to these people's lives this game is, or these games are, MMOs in general, where
Yeah.
on the internet outside of the game, it was a thing.
No, that's the thing with MMOs. They are very lifestyle attachment. Like, because when we were playing Lost Ark, all of a sudden you're like, it's fine, and then you realize you have to go through this game meta to play to be effective, or even moderately effective, let alone shooting off. So
Especially if the MMO you're
yeah.
spending as much time as
thing.
you do at a job. Like, these people become
Oh,
your
yeah.
life. You see them more than your girlfriend, boyfriend. You see them more than your
Right.
family. Like, they become your inner circle, right?
They become Daft and Aaron.
You wake up, hey guys, like what you do on with Discord, but it's a game, so there's more connections and more dedication. Right.
Hey, let me trade me that sword. Thanks, buddy.
Right.
I know.
I'll be logging in at this time if you want to meet up in this town, Oh, that's cool.
That's just sorry to be segue here, but hey, can you trade me this sword? Imagine if last Epoch had a phone app that you didn't play the game, but you could trade in the phone app away from not even logged in on your computer. Be at work, and someone can pop up. You get a message on your phone saying, "Hey, I would like this piece, this item," and you could say yay or nay, and they can offer a trade through.
I don't want that.
I don't care what you want. This is perfect.
No,
you don't want good things.
So I'd have the last
World of Warcraft.
I'd have the last Epoch trade app. Is that what it would be?
Yeah, it would be last Epoch trade app.
Oh god.
It would be linked with the game, so you could trade from outside of the game. It's perfect. It needs to happen. Mike, where are you at? Mike.
Mike's asleep in Canada. He's asleep.
All I remember from my World of Warcraft days is Thoughtbot. I was on that all the time. Remember Thoughtbot?
No, it's Icy Veins. Go on Icy Veins and just research everything. Research
Leroy Jenkins.
All right.
I've watched that like 1,000 times. I don't know.
It's funny.
It really is funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on pull? Feels good?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense though. MMO winning it.
Totally totally agree that it was expected.
Do think it's weird that everybody was like, "Oh, we're going with MMO," and a CRPG for the third year in a row won PC Gamer's top.
Daft, what did you vote for?
I voted for the Rogue.
So none of us voted MMO.
No, it's the game I like. Typically, I play other games, but like if I'm falling into something where I'm just kind of looking for an itch to scratch, it's generally a roguelike or a building game, like some type of building game. But
Farthest Frontier,
Timberborn,
Frontier.
Good game. I love it.
It's a great game. I had a really good game. Speaking of real guilty recently, I got 4 10x10 farms going. I had the town just thriving. It was nice, very nice.
So we were in a meeting. We were in a dev meeting, and one of the guys goes, "Hey, there's this really cool game called Farthest Frontier." And I'm like, "I've already made a video."
You guys are monsters. I hate it that Mike on Friday's stream, they were talking about Grim Dawn. He's like, "Oh, they also just made a new game, Farthest Frontier, and I played it, and it was excellent." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
it is excellent."
Even listening to the official Last Epoch stream, I can't get away from Farthest Frontier.
It's that good. Put in perspective, Sam, the other developer that brought it up, doesn't play Town Builders. He plays he's got 5,000 hours in Diablo.
Wow.
But he plays this Town Builder.
Well, to be fair, the 5,000 hours in Diablo he has are mostly Afghanistan hours.
But yes, Aaron, it is pretty nice. It pushed the envelope for the genre in general. Kind of like took where Banished was years, about 2014, I think they came out. Kind of took that thing and totally polished the whole thing, so there's much more gameplay to it overall. And it's updated and modern, and it kind of fills that itch between a city builder and a survival game. It's kind of right in the middle. And you can also auto-tune it to be have
whatever you
peaceful
want.
game. I mean, they made it so anybody could like the game.
Yeah,
that's by just fine-tuning it.
Yeah, the advanced options are awesome. And you can pick whatever, if you want planes, if you want to be on a lake, everything.
Right. And just all the things that makes you really kind of go, okay, I'm going to just dig in, dive, and just enjoy kind of creating the whatever.
You can go straight masochist with that.
You can.
You
can, Aaron. You can go full on you can make it so you're attacked all the time, offense. You have to actually build up your castles, build up your towers, build up your armies. Supply them with their weapons and gear.
Why would you want that though?
So
it's cool. It's
you're
like playing an
so good at
RTS,
the
but
game.
slower. And as far as like
Yeah,
pacing, it's
but
because they do come in intervals and they progressively get harder. So there's that RTS connection.
Well, you can run it at full. Okay, there's 4 speeds to the game besides pause. You get half speed, native speed, which is 1. Then you have double speed, and then you have 3 times speed. So I get in there and run it at 3 times speed until people start getting sick, and then I'll slow it down to like 1. Or I'll pause.
Why are you getting your people sick?
They get sick regardless.
They get things like typhoid and stuff, depending on how well you develop and how, like, as the game develops, you get things like rats that get involved and soap and like your food balance. So if they're eating too much meat, they can get cholera. All these different things based off just kind of like real dysentery.
Just imagine all the dirty people in Grim Dawn. Okay,
basically, has
you
that
see
vibe
them
too.
maintaining a modicum of health.
That is a pretty filthy group of people.
So that's the same people.
Okay. Done with the poll. Done with farthest frontier. We're now moving to Last Epoch, and we're going to be talking about kind of an interesting topic because this keeps being told to me. Today was the first time publicly, without an NDA, the public was able to watch multiplayer. So if you're not a part of the CT program and under NDA, you could have went to Zizarin's stream and for a few hours watched the game creator Judd, Stargazer, and Mike, 2 of the main developers, play 4-player multiplayer. And it was pretty cool being able to see them and listening to questions. I'm actually going to be dropping a video tomorrow, which will be a special dev chat video, but Zizarin edition. Because the questions that Zizarin was getting them to answer were
solid,
very, very solid. Because it's Judd. Nice. They're asking the game creator instead of in front of 7,000 people. So the game creator doesn't have to turn to Discord to ask for permission. He could say whatever he wants. And he did. Mike would be like, "Hey, Judd, I'm going to turn this over to you because I would need your permission to say it anyways."
The buck ends with Judd. Yeah,
exactly. So
where it stops.
So actually watching the multiplayer wasn't, because I've seen it, wasn't super cool, but seeing them for talking throughout it was really great. The point is that there's a lot of people upset that, you know, the first person that gets a shot at it, the first person that gets all the publicity, the first people that are playing Last Epoch with 11th hour games are people that normally don't play Last Epoch. And I try to tell them over and over again that, you know, this is a good thing.
Marketing.
Like you shouldn't look at it like, you know, oh, they're simping or they're doing this. Like, I actually don't look at it that way. I look at it that Last Epoch has a very small player base right now, and they want to take a chunk out of that Diablo bucket, and they want to take a chunk out of that Path of Exile mountain, and they want to give the ARPG community a glimpse of what's to come. And I do think that you could play PoE, and then when the league's done, you could play Last Epoch. Like, it doesn't mean that they're never going to play that again. And getting 7,000 potential new eyes on the game is a good thing. Do I wish I had 7,000 people watching me? Of course, but that would not be the case, right? So, guilty thoughts.
I don't know, it's fine. Like, it's super smart. Like, Ziz has an item in the game. Why wouldn't he do it?
Right.
Like, squirrels. Come on. Do they not know that? It's not like they went and grabbed like Asmongold to do it, or like Ninja or something stupid like that. They went and grabbed someone that's actually in the game.
Sure.
Herald of the Scurry. Unique helmet. Zizarins.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't have it.
I do.
Like, I don't know. People can be butthurt. People get butthurt. It's the internet.
I mean, they're just the loudest ones. The ones who are talking. It doesn't mean the majority.
Yeah,
it's a group
not
of
even that they're
people.
the loudest. It's like people acknowledge someone's disinterest or dissatisfaction, so they voice it.
Right.
What they're not looking at is the 93% or 95% of the people who didn't voice it. Not voicing it is like you're complicit. You like it.
White Tigers agree. He's like, all game. I agree with what he's saying. It's all gamers bounce. They do. It's what we were talking about with the poll. You have your games that you always play, and when you're kind of not into it, you play other games. I mean, it's just, or you do other stuff, but typically you'll bounce around between games. And, I agree. You bounce back. People will go play Path of Exile. They'll play Last Epoch. They'll play Diablo. They'll play it for a long time, and then maybe when they're burnt, go to the others.
And I will say, like, I get it, because some of the people saying it are saying it in the Discord, and it's like, oh, it's not fair. And I get it because they're trying to defend me, which I totally appreciate. I get what they're trying to say is that,
Right.
It should be a Boardman, it should be an Aaron, it should be a Lizard that's doing this stream. And in my head, the game wouldn't be as successful if that was the case. Sure,
Right.
we using their marketing, we could probably get a couple hundred people, but you cannot compare 7,000 eyes to that.
No.
You know what I mean?
You know where I do have one thing they could have done. I don't care about Judd playing or Mike playing. It should have been you, Ziz, Lizard, Perry, and Boardman or something.
No,
like
it should have been you.
It should have taken you guys and put
Guilty.
you and Ziz. And
Yeah, it
Ziz.
should have been the three of us.
Right. It should have
Yeah,
been
throw
the
Ziz
three
in
of us
there.
and Ziz. Right. Screw
You know,
Perry
I
and all
do
that.
think they
No,
could.
it should have been Perry and Aaron and Ziz.
I mean, obviously, it'd be cool if it was like,
Ultimately, yes.
the big event is Ziz and tomorrow's Steel Mage, but you throw one bone to whoever. I'm not even saying me. I'm saying like a single developer stream, or even just being able to you can go play it on your own NDA list, right? Like,
Right.
you know the
That'd
game
be
enough.
nice.
You know the game enough where you don't have to. We don't need to be here to answer the questions. You could answer the questions. Either
I
way.
would guarantee you know the game better than Ziz does.
Oh, I know the game. I know the
would
game.
guarantee it.
100%.
I know the game
Guaranteed.
1,000 times. He streamed LE for 9 hours today. So at the end of the stream,
He also got paid too.
at the end of the stream, he was. I mean, I can't confirm or deny that. Either way, at the end of the stream.
He on Twitter he said he's being paid to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what he does for a living. I mean, it's fine.
He said the reason he was able to take so much time off for his honeymoon was because he's being paid to do that event.
Right. I mean, obviously, it's his personal life. Plus, he he has this whole Path of Exile thing. So to put that in there, of course, you're gonna, if you want someone that big, obviously you're gonna pay them. I mean,
But I want to
makes
be
sense.
clear. I'm not upset with Zizarin or 11th Hour Games. I just want to be as clear as possible. I am happy that they're spending the money to market the game, to get more eyes on it, to build the player base. Because ultimately, me being a channel that does focus in on that game, not solely that game, but it is a big part of the channel.
Right.
I want the game to be as successful as possible. I want as many people to play it as possible.
Right.
Because it helps everyone, right? So,
Well, the community gets bigger, and then a percentage of the players that he brings stick with the community at large, and then become ideally part of our community as this community kind of gets into Last Epoch. It's kind of like you just want to get more people involved, because then you have more eyes on.
Because that we'll just keep with the example of Ziz. Ziz is never going to be a full-time LE streamer.
Well, look at what Path of Exile 2 comes out. It sucks. Everyone's going to look for a good game.
Yeah, but Zizarin, again, I cannot confirm nor deny this. He is for sure monthly paid by GGG. Like, he is under contract.
payroll.
Yes.
You think so?
For sure.
I'm pretty sure he's.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see that.
He has his own event every single league. He has his own Q&A during the launch cycle. Every single
You
league.
think he's monthly paid or paid per event?
I bet he's paid monthly. I don't know.
That could be. He could be salary. That could work.
Or it could be, again, it could be like a headhunt thing where like every stream of PoE he gets paid X or something.
I would think it's kind of league based. Like, he probably gets paid for each league.
He's not playing this league. He's on honeymoon. It's almost like he
I'm
knew
sure he got a
this
paycheck for
league
the
was
league.
going to be terrible.
He helped launch it and did 15 or 20 build guides right prior to it. So I mean, there's all that time.
Right. Yeah, that's true. You're right. He did do a build up, and then he got married. Went to what looked like a tropical vista. I don't know.
Nice.
He looked like he's having fun.
But what would happen is, even if 5-10% of Zizarin's community decided to give Last Epoch a chance. The ones that truly love the game or fall in love with it, or hey, I'm going to take a break from PoE because I'm having fun here. They're going to be looking for guides and videos and people to watch, and Zizarin won't be there. That's all I'm saying, is that that's where the people that are full-time covering that game will see the spoils of today's stream.
No, and that's completely fair. Like, they're going to get swelled into the big ocean of, well, the small ocean of players that play.
Yeah.
But then they'll be filtered through the parries, the errands, etc. They'll get filtered through them, and they'll find the personalities they kind of stick with or enjoy, and just build up the community. So overall, I think it's positive, and they know that too. They're a business; they're trying to get more money and more players, more eyes.
And I think it's important. I won't say how the conversations went because that's not appropriate. But sure. it feels good too, because I was able to have a conversation with them, and they personally reached out to me to say, "Hey, we totally understand. It's like not a feel good moment. It's
right.
They were very respectful and courteous to be like, these people are getting the first shot, and we're sorry. We know that doesn't feel good, but again, it feels good knowing that they wanted to reach out. And I gave them the same answer I just told all of you, is that I totally get it. I want the game to be as successful as possible. And I think you're making the right decision, because that's going to make the game as successful as possible. So anyways, I just a lot of people have been emailing me and messaging me, and I just kind of want to set the record straight. Of course, it'd be amazing if I was that streamer, but I shouldn't have been that
Baby
streamer.
Steps.
Yes.
Baby steps.
Yes.
For White Tiger, if you don't like toxic players, come to our Discord. I just dropped it in the link right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
We play games together and do all that stuff. So
lots of different
come
games.
hang out.
But it's going back, like I'll say it again. They should have mixed you in and not had them, because their game should be shining, not them.
Overall,
but that was
Judd,
the idea.
Judd's not Superstar.
I get it.
Not Superstar Judd. It's not Superstar Mike. We see Mike every Friday.
Yeah.
Be honest, I don't want to see Mike play a video game.
Oh, that's right, Cavalian.
Like, it should have been people who play video games and people who want to watch those people play video games playing the video games.
But I think the idea is that's what it was. It's like, let's put up our star power from our studio. Mike, if you watched it on Friday, they're internal, those three people do. Mike, Stargazer, or whatever, and Judd.
In Made Up Land, no one's watching them stream anything.
And also, you got to remember, they're not going to have someone like me or Lizard or Perry on there, because we don't work for them.
Know about the game?
What if I start talking? What if I start?
Well, technically, he does. Yeah.
What if I start talking crap? I can't be reprimanded for my actions. Anyways, I get it. Lady Medusa says, I do not doubt that something is coming for you guys to shine.
I was going to say, there's waves of this. Obviously, the day, like the opening week, biggest people out there, the biggest celebrities. And as you get further off that ripple, you can get everybody else to kind of start filling in, because the others are going to back out. Like you were mentioning, they're just naturally going to go back to their games. So you'll fill in that space. And depending on how they do this multiplayer integration from where we are now into live, it might be more beneficial to not be on the front end, but on the back end, where you get all the people already brought in, and then you get the swell. So you get all those to kind of like feed off of.
An example, if Ziz had 10,000 people watching him for 1.0 launch of Last Epoch,
it'd be great.
And all the normies are streaming, it'll be like Ziz won't know the answer to the question. Maybe they'll bounce to another stream to somebody that actually knows how to play the game, right? People move around.
They'll just watch and not know.
Yeah, that's actually probably true.
And not know. That's why they should have had Ziz get in with some actual LE players, and they could have schooled him. It would have been interesting.
But then
that should have been a good,
But then you're talking about the person you're paying is being it looks bad because he doesn't even know what he's doing. That's not fair, fun.
He knows what he's doing. He just doesn't know as much.
Right, you're not highlighting the
designed
deficiencies.
The squirrel thing.
It's like it's a player who's acknowledged about ARPGs, but doesn't know all the things. But on their own, they can play it fine, competently. But if you put them with someone who knows the lore in the game and how to build, that could just exponentially be better because they say, "Hey, what about this?" And then they're like, "Oh, mind blown," and they go crazy because they realize something that mechanically didn't make sense for it initially. So there's nothing wrong with it, unless they, as the bigger one, have a problem with that.
Imagine watching Todd Howard play Fallout 4. Or no. Fallout 4. No, it's a game he probably didn't have much to do with the design, considering the lead designer that was Emil Tagliarulo.
Yeah.
I love you, Emil. You're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you
for everything.
Those circumstances are hard. That's a hard analogy.
Watching Todd Howard play like Fallout 4 and try to show it off. He can't play video games.
Right.
He has someone balance his checkbook for him.
Yeah, but Judd created this game out of his basement.
This is true.
Todd Howard created nonsense about the 16 times for Fallout 76 out of his, the back of his head.
I don't think you give Judd enough credit. And I do think Judd should have been a part of that stream because he was able to answer questions that no one else could.
Well,
he goes out there and does the Todd Howard thing and says 16 times the fun, and then he gets off and lets the gamers play.
XP in chat said, I thought Wolson was going to be my time to shine.
Wolson always comes back.
Everything comes back to Wolson.
Oh my.
I can't wait to review.
Designed Wolson.
I can't wait to review the final chapter or the new chapter for Wolson.
Yeah, they are working on something, right?
Who knows when it's going to come out, but yes.
There's a new game. Their current game's not finished.
But they said they're finishing it.
Buggy. Oh, they said a lot of things. They 2 years ago, we said controller support.
Hey, we have controller support, though.
When we got it, it was broken controller support.
We still got it.
It's the one channel on our Discord that's managed to live while being dead for the last year.
That's where I drop memes and GIFs.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
every Wolson video I make always does well. Oh, I mean, granted, I am the only person on the entire planet that covers this game, so it makes sense when you're the only game in town, I guess.
Yes, Greenwit. The team has dispersed on Wilson. We talked about that a few weeks ago.
It was more than 50% of the team quit.
Yeah,
gone.
It's some of them lead devs.
Okay.
So,
anyways,
so a little piece of last Epoch. So when Judd answered this question, I was like, I have to make a dev chat Ziz edition because of just this one question. They keep getting, or they don't. Let me set this up correctly. Ziz is reading questions from his community, whether they're coming in on the stream or whether they're questions that he already had ready to go, and over again. Warlock, Rune Master, Falconeer, they're just getting hit over and over again.
Almost like a hint, right?
Finally, Judd says.
Small hint. Just a small hint.
Finally, Judd says, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm just going to say it to clear the air because we get so much questions about it. The Warlock, the Rune Master, and the Falconeer, all three will be dropping at the exact same time for 1.0 launch.
That's big-ish. I thought they would be afterwards.
I thought they were going to be 1.0. I thought they had to be 1.0.
They have to be, but I didn't think they would do it.
Yeah, so I understand. Yeah, I kind of was in that. Like, for it to succeed, it has to be a complete game on launch.
Right.
For sure. They said by launch, you'll have every mastery. Every single mastery will have the same amount of skills, including base class. All the skills will be refreshed. There'll be no original assets in the game that were purchased outside of 11th Hour Games being created.
That's good to know.
And every single item that is a category that visually shows on you will be like the 2D art.
So they probably aren't being
Except for the
completely
armor.
honest with us with their team.
It's going to be armor sets.
Ocean, right?
No.
Like, and I knew this, but like they're
No.
like, we're 100% in multiplayer. I'm sure they're like maybe 75% of the team.
I made fun
Overall?
of that. I'm like, the lore master's not doing anything with multiplayer.
Right. They've gotta be working on it, is what I've been saying. They have to be working on those
So-
other classes, and you know, it
If
would
you
just be
haven't
too
picked up-
wonkers.
Mike speaks as clearly as he can, and he's super hyperbolic about something.
And sometimes he
He
messes up and
exaggerates.
slips something too, you know.
Every once in a while,
He'll
yeah.
slip. Right. But like sometimes he's just straight up hyperbolic. Like when he says, "Oh, we're all working on multiplayer." No, you're not.
Yeah.
Like, Mike, you're not a Mike. You're not a multiplayer guy.
It's like when
Mike,
you're telling
are
your
you
kids
working on
things,
multiplayer?
right? It comes off like when you're talking to your kids, you tell them what they need to know based on the situation, but there's behind the scenes stuff they might not understand. So,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
right.
Okay.
It's the same kind of thing.
All right, we're going to pause for a second and answer 2 questions for the community. The first question, I mean, this is for Last Epoch. I mean, how will multiplayer enhance the gameplay? Now, I'll start off by saying that there's some people that don't even care about multiplayer. There's some people that I talk to in the comment section that say, I wish they never developed multiplayer and they put all of those resources and money and everything, keeping it a single player game.
Right.
That being said, how it will enhance the game is obviously you could play with friends. You're going to go to authoritative servers. So there's no more cheating or hacking, and you could log into
Right.
multiple devices. It's not locally saved. You will have trading available.
Just the interaction with players to
Yep.
make a community, as opposed to what Grim Dawn would make an awesome game. And then they did like Grim Dawn to transition. They kind of focused on the single player all the way through. And then towards the end did the multiplayer thing. And it was noticeable.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't smooth initially and it had all these troubles.
Ooh,
Now
It
it's
was-
fine.
it
But-
was an unbalanced, chaotic mess.
Right.
It was
So-
a gauntlet of pain.
So I think Last Epoch learned a little bit from that team, from Crate, that yes, if you put all your money in at some point, if you want to do it, you got to kind of develop that into the game. So
It's also important to know that from
Fine.
day one, they pitched it as a multiplayer game. So it wasn't
that,
we're going to make an amazing single player. It's like their backers, their Kickstarter,
Right.
you know, their streams, you know,
Kickstarter.
for years they've held true to it. They've claimed like integrity is important to us, honesty is important to us. We couldn't imagine telling people for years to give us their money and then, hey, we're actually not making it multiplayer anymore. It's like
Right.
from the beginning they were dedicated to do it and they were dedicated to doing it. But as far as multiplayer enhancing the gameplay, you know, it's like weirdly in the eye of the beholder. For me, it's going to enhance it greatly because I could play with my, you know, channel leaders. I could play with the community. We could come up with fun games and races and ladder and make it more competitive, you know, and anybody that wants to play it single player technically still can. You're not required to interact with anybody, right? So it's kind of my thoughts.
And that's a bonus. That's a bonus. You know, you can do either version of the game and enjoy it. You know,
Yep.
Each their own when it comes to that.
Second question. I know crafting is huge for a lot of people, where some people despise crafting. Will you be able to make end game builds without crafting, or is crafting an absolute must for end game? Daft, this is a question for you.
All right. Sorry. I got captivated by a question. Go ahead.
Is
repeat it real quick.
crafting required for an end game build?
I would say required, yes. Ultimately, if you want to synergize your gear better, you could do like theme builds and not do that. So if you just want to like go full on X class and do like a design, you could do that. But I think ultimately to do well in endgame, you want to craft your gear for the most part.
I would agree. Like the theme build thing, that's a good idea if you just want to have some fun and maybe not go too far into endgame. But if you want to like try and delve deep into endgame, you're gonna have to do some crafting.
That would be a really fun race / competition who could make the best build without crafting. I would say
Exactly.
without tremendous luck, you cannot make a true end game build without crafting. Now that being said, a lot of people will shy away from crafting because they think it's super complicated. They played frickin' Wolcen, they played PoE, and they're just like, man, this is so over my head. I can't learn it. And then they get intimidated by it. Last Epoch crafting, you could literally, I don't want to say master it, but you could learn it and fully understand its function day one. It is so simple. It's like simple. What is it? Easy to use, hard to master, maybe something like that. But yeah, the crafting system in LE is actually one of the reasons I love the game. I love the skill trees and I love the crafting. I think that's where they like really knocked it out of the park.
Right. I'll say initially before they did the change recently with gear having amounts of points you could put before it just like, oh, well, you're done upgrading it. You don't break it like they used to break. Now they have that. Oh, well, you have 20
stability,
points to play with.
stability.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole stability thing. Before that, I could completely use.
Or no, forging
crafting.
potential. Forging potential.
Forging potential.
you.
Yeah, forging potential.
So before forging potential, the way I would do it was I would just base it off what I needed, and you could pretty much gear early on pretty easily because you didn't have anything but luck against you, where now you have numbers that, okay, well, definite number of gear. So what I've noticed is the early game now is not crafting based. I mean, you can craft, but you're doing it to maybe just kind of like fill out your resist. You're not trying to like build anything. You're just trying to like not die at that point. Later on in the game, when you have more points to play with, I think crafting becomes more essential and easy to work with because your gear's just gonna have more points. So it flip-flopped for me because usually I would just collect everything that had the best bases and then just craft them, but that's pointless now early on because you have like 12 points to play with. So the max you can really do early on is not so good. So it's more luck-based early, but later in the game now it's, you know, you can craft it and have a better successful overall because it's not breaking. You just have definitive numbers you're working with, and it's kind of luck RNG based off of if your blessings don't, it gives you the saves on it. So I think it's better now overall in the late game.
It's also something about end game crafting in Last Epoch. Yeah, you're not taking a base item and turning it into something amazing. You'll have if you're good at the game, you'll have a very detailed loot filter. So that item will drop that could potentially be an item that you wear, and all you're doing is just tuning it. That's really it. Like, you got 2 of 3 affixes. Let's try and, seal this one or change this one, and then we'll add health. Bam, got it. Oh, the implicit didn't roll good. I'll re-roll that. You're just tweaking an already good item that fell. And if you don't want to craft, you could just use it how it fell. But it's just so easy to up the affixes to tier 5 that,
Exactly.
Daft, there's some people's loot filter is hide all items, show exalts.
Right.
And that's
loot filter. Yeah.
You'd want to see sets, uniques, exalts, idols, and then affixes just drop. Loot filter done.
I do it based off of like all my base gear stats. Like when I make my loot filters is gear, all the different pieces of armor have different, you could put vitality or added health or hybrid health, right? And each piece has a different thing. I maximize like on when I level, I'm looking for the health and the vitality. Like I always talk to you, Aaron, like you need to not die. So that's like my base. And then on top of that, I will prioritize depending on the build, like my resistance stuff. And it works out fine because you make a tankier character, whatever class it is, by just having those health. And then you fill in, your specific class build like affixes on top of wherever there's slots. And some pieces are geared to like your chest piece and your belt. They're kind of like geared towards potions or health or, overall your boots are speed, and so you kind of all of mine start there, and then depending on the build, I will like look for certain pieces for certain parts. Like, okay, so if I can find this and this here, I'll look for those. But I close down as I level up. I start to close out the lower level tiers of them because
a lot of people don't know this. I am closing in, I think, on 1,500 hours in Last Epoch. Daftly, right. This man right here has 3,000 hours in Last Epoch.
Maybe. I don't know if it's around there.
You're up there.
High, but yeah. It's up there. I mean, yeah, I've been playing it since Kickstart like days ago. So that earliest stuff isn't on there, obviously, because it was before it was on Steam, but it's a thing.
Yeah, like we had a number of people that bought it when it was, I was at Kickstarted or whatever before it was linked to Steam. So when they went to go sign up for stuff, they're like, they're not even in Steam.
Right.
Sorry, you can't do it.
Can't do it. No can do.
For Lady Medusa, you can, like, if you pick a game in Steam,
it'll show you the hours
played. Up top where the name is, it'll say played hours.
We've got 4,200 hours in game and chat.
Nice, Gibran. Gibran's almost at 5.
Gibran, I want to see that screenshot in Discord. That's a lot of hours.
Okay. Share it at the
my son has more than that in Rust.
He likes Rust. Gibran asked, when are they going to make respecking a character not a ridiculous amount of work?
The button, the respec button that they've been promising.
That button, you just respec all.
I'll do it for free, Aaron. Just tell him I'll do it for free.
Okay, listen. I'll tell a quick story. This is a podcast. We're supposed to tell stories. Okay?
Yeah.
It makes it more fun. What, a year ago? I don't know, forever ago. Nah, maybe about a year ago. Guilty a year ago? When did I get my unique?
About a year ago.
Maybe about a year ago.
I think, it's about a year ago. I think I know what you're talking about. Judd said something.
I don't know if it's a year, but
we'll just say a year. Around a year ago.
It was like 8 months. Yeah, it's getting there.
It's a year.
Around a year ago. I'm streaming. Maybe had a couple cocktails. We're great stream. Everyone's subbing, getting follows. Captain Neckbeard's going nuts. And then Judd, the game creator of Last Epoch, joins the stream. And he's giving me keys. And now everyone's subbing. We're all interacting. He's answering questions, having a great night. And that was the night where Judd, the game creator, gave me a free unique in-game. So my new unique that is coming to the game for 090 was given to me by the game creator on my stream. I am the only person that I know of that has been gifted a unique in-game. Now, that's not the story. Oh, I guess that's the first part of the story. The end of the story is before he logged off, I said, Judd, I have one request for you. I have one request. Can you add a button that says respec all on passives? I was like, please, for someone that makes builds and is always testing stuff, put in a respec all button. And Judd said, you got it. The game creator told me it'll go in. And then literally literally the next day, it was the next day, maybe a couple days, I basically get messaged and said, hey, we are going to put that in, but it's not going to be anytime soon. So it's actually funny that they reeled that one in. But the point I'm trying to make is, Gibran, I literally tried to get the respec passive button in, and Judd said he would do it. And of course they're going to do it, but it didn't happen.
Hey,
they have a free slave to work on that. I'll just do that. And then I might drop out. They don't have to pay me.
Have a good work.
That button.
Enjoy.
I know, maybe all we have to do is complain. You know what's funny?
We could call it Guilty's button.
Hey,
Guilty's button.
Hey, Gibran, you might appreciate this. At least it's something, okay? Just follow me for a second. They're going to make it on 09, where when you right click to get rid of the point in the passives, you can hit enter to accept it.
Oh, that's
so
so
nice.
useful.
Instead
So you
of
can do that whole, like pop up
because
thing.
so right now it's right click, then you have to go to the middle and click, and then right. So that's what you're doing over and over again. So now you can just click enter, click enter, click enter, click enter. So I mean, at least that's, you know.
But
Are you kidding me?
You just need to have a button that says all. You don't have to use it. You could do them one by one, but just an all.
So
it
this
could even be like mastery based. It doesn't have to be all your masteries. It could be mastery 1 and mastery 2, right?
Okay. Let me
All
explain.
be good though.
Let me actually explain why this has happened, because I think this is kind of important actually. 11th hour games at the point that they're at right now don't just put something in to put it in. Okay, so now what I'm trying to say is like the system that they want to implement for respecking passives is the system they want to put in that would be in for the life of the game. Not just a respec all button. They actually want a system for passives where you could put in all your points, it'll tell you how much it costs, and then there'd be like an accept button. Or on contrary, it would be a deduct all your points, it'll tell you how much it costs, and then do you actually want to do this action? So they're actually creating a bigger, more sophisticated, probably over the top respec.
Well, Grim Dawn.
You know,
they don't have to.
Gold.
They don't have to. They don't have to treat this like an end game thing. It could just be a button that says all, and here's the cost. Do you agree? Yes.
Honestly, there shouldn't even be a cost. I think.
Well, I mean, they could do it for free, but
I'm not saying there shouldn't be a cost because I'm cheap. I'm saying there shouldn't be a cost because it's like 7,000 gold, or it's like it's so minimal that nobody even.
No one cares.
Exactly.
Early on.
Why don't they
when
make
we
it more
all
expensive?
start? Right. Yeah.
So that Aaron would be upset.
I'd pay 500,000 gold for a respec all button.
It's chump change. As the game move on, early on, it would people would matter. Like maybe for the first month, people lay all butthurt because they have to pay for it. But who cares? Because early on, you're either copying a guide, so you're not even worried about it, or you're kind of like playing the game and figuring it out as you go on. Someone like Aaron, they're not figuring it out as they go along, but they're beefy enough to know how to make the money in the game, so they don't care either. So it just seems
you could do like a respec all for that tree, right? It doesn't have to be respec every passive, but it could be, it pulls out all your points on Paladin. Oh, you want all your points out on the Sentinel base class, like it, so that it doesn't just yank everything out. I don't know. I know it seems like such a little thing, but that is an example of like quality of life, right? Massive.
It is right.
Massive quality of life.
Think of this. It's pretty much free right now. You just have to do the click gauntlet. Like it's essentially free.
It's 150. It's actually it's almost 200 clicks.
It's ridiculous.
And it's not exactly, and it's not like you just click. It's literally click,
Move.
click.
Move.
Oh, I misclicked. And you just go
it shouldn't be they can make maybe they can make an alternative like mini game out of this where they keep this old crap system and make a mini game out of it where you could also do this, but maybe if you go through the torment of the mini game, you get a free affix or something like, here, remember our old school game? Click. You clicked it 75 times. You win. Yeah. Or affixes.
What is this? Bethesda's like lock picking system.
Yeah.
If you get it right, you don't have to pay.
Hey, Gibran, the only reason why I know about the enter thing is because it came up on stream maybe like 3 weeks ago, and Mike's like, we're working on an intricate system, but what we did add, but what we already put in was enter. And I'm like, literally for a second, I'm sitting there watching him. I'm like, I didn't know that. So I literally immediately log into the game and I go to respec and I hit enter and it does not work. So I go back to the stream and I'm like, enter doesn't work. And he's like, oh yeah, we actually haven't put it in yet. It's probably coming on the next one. It's not in game yet, but you will be able to hit enter to put it out. Anyways.
I mean, that was a dev chat. What other things has he leaked out in the dev chat? He said some things in the dev chat he wasn't supposed to. I think most of the stuff he's leaked out he wasn't supposed to say.
So, interesting. This didn't come from Zizarin's stream. This came from Friday's last Epoch stream. Somebody asked, hey, Mike, will we get any more minion-focused classes? And he said, if you're looking at like a necromancer or beastmaster style of class where you control a fairly large army, no. That being said, the Falconeer will be a minion-focused class.
So is it or isn't it? Because we've heard two things now.
I don't know. I literally put it in the video. The video I posted today, I put that in there.
Yeah.
Now I can't believe a word he says.
They're trying to be sneaky with this. It's gonna be like, I think, a spell based, or like maybe
it's gonna be whatever it is.
Like the druid, where they'll have hit points and they'll die and you have to resurrect them. I think that's gonna be involved with the class, possibly. They're making it mysterious, but ultimately I think it's like a, kind of like schadenfreude to like make you think it's cooler than it is. And it's going to be kind of a combination of maybe the acolyte and the druid somewhere in the middle, like,
Okay. Also, now we're shifting to Zizarin's stream today. They're talking about the Falconeer, and Zizarin kept saying, I want to be able to name my Falcon. Please put in the game, the ability to obviously like appropriate names, but like whether it's 5,000 names that you guys pick and I have to pick one of those, or a name that I can actually type in, I want to be able to name my bird. And they're like, we didn't think of that, but it's duly noted. And then Judd says something interesting about the Falconeer, and I know a lot of people don't like hearing this, but it will definitely be a fan favorite when it comes to MTX.
Oh, that's just a way to put it.
And then Ziz is like, well, maybe, put in a skin where you could turn your Falcon into a toucan and you guys will be billionaires. That was Zizarin's joke.
Right. Are we doing like the whole Lost Ark thing where your attacking thing can be like a anime woman in swimsuit or something that flies?
They said they wouldn't leave lore.
Yeah, there's no MTX that will leave lore. What's up, Exathius? Hello.
Okay, hey. So like I don't know, a person in the game that's doing the same thing. But like, what does that mean? Like, that just scares me a little bit.
Fan favorite when it comes to spending money on a game you already spent money on.
Not required, though.
But a fan favorite.
I think they were just saying that obviously being able to change this Falcon, how it looks, will maybe do something. Oh, Daft's dealing with family. Daft, go help your kids.
I mean, they're fur babies. I think they're in charge of the house.
No, he's fine.
It's fine. It was my wife's actually home, and she was just giving me some updates. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no worries.
Baby. Not a fur baby.
That's the boss of the house right there.
Correct.
So I did find it interesting that they brought up MTX during the stream. I was like, oh, that's coming from Judd, which means, for sure, they're already designing that shop. For sure.
Yeah, but 100% of everyone's working on multiplayer, guys. No, there's no huge chunk of that team working on MTX right now.
Maybe a little portion, but like the smallest part of the team, like the art team.
The
newest,
Yeah, I doubt that.
The interns.
What? And again, this is just me guessing. I don't know. All right, this is just my opinion. because as they keep getting hammered with Warlock and Rune Master and Falconeer questions over and over again, Stargazer basically says, our vision for the Rune Master is X. And Zizzarin's like, your vision? Like, you haven't even started putting it together? And he's like, you never use the word vision. This is Zizzarin. Zizzarin in front of 7,000 people is like, you should never use the word vision. Right in front.
Point.
Yes, the vision for it. And then they kind of went.
Was the right choice.
And then they went back and they said, well,
there is that.
We've worked a little bit on Rune Master, or worked a little bit on Falconeer. We've worked a little bit on Warlock. We're the farthest away on Rune Master, so we figured we're going to work on that the most. Something like that.
Good idea.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm not against MTX. I'm not against all that stuff.
No.
And, you know, to be honest, I would hope they do, because PoE does. Technically, PoE is free, but I don't view it as a free game, because everyone buys something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be it the $20 starter thing that gives you, like, the blood swoop.
Dude, you could put 2 million different MTX in there that are cosmetic only and charge whatever you want. Could literally care less. Like, I can...
Yeah, I am an open market through and through guy, but where my, where I'm a little bit, like, concerned is we're like, everyone's working on multiplayer. No, they're not. A lot of people might be.
I am guessing
does
that
not consist of multiplayer engineers. They're not like network engineers, every one of them.
But think about it. Everyone's maybe everybody's working on the multiplayer 09 patch, right? I mean, it's all semantics. You don't like wording wise. You could guilty. They were all working on multiplayer. One was working on the art that is going in. One is working on the stability.
No, that's not multiplayer. That's that's working on art. Multiplayer is the networking.
Right. Exactly.
That's what everyone thinks about. That's what engineers think about. When they say that, that's immediate. That's what that means. Now, they're referring to the multiplayer patch. They need to say the patch number.
Yep. Couple other little things I noticed today when they were playing multiplayer. When you die, you still get experience from your team, just in case anybody knows that. Mike was dead on the ground and he kept leveling up, so I found that pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
They also explained a little bit like how the reward system goes. So like if you die during the monolith or if you exit the monolith and they still complete it, you could still get the rewards for it. So when you're a team, you basically get everything together, which made me think like weirdly, like, can I jump in? Like if everybody took a different monolith, could we basically complete 4 at the same time or something like that? My brain immediately started going that way.
See, that just leaves open for like super leveling, because if I go in there and you're like way up here and I just die, like because I get hit by anything and I get the all of the accoutrements because, well, you guys finished it, that could be a little sketchy. Like, I guess it's a good way to power level without doing anything.
From what the grapevine, the powers that be, the seance that I had, I believe power leveling is going to be a thing in multiplayer.
Oh yeah, so if everybody doesn't know this, if I was leveled 100 and Daft's like, I want to make a Falconeer, he could join my team and I could take him into the monolith literally level 1. And I could I could power level you. I don't know how fast. I'm guessing hours. Maybe a couple hours I get you.
I mean,
Diablo style.
Unless they lock it. If you go in at level 1 and you just go through just one, zone, it's going to level that first level character like significantly because the amount of experience you're getting. So, I mean, are they going to bar it off to like a certain level or if I'm like, hey, Aaron, I want to be a level 100 tonight. Let's log in now and I'll just I'll die and you could just level me to 100 in like the next hour or two.
I'm really curious. I want to know like what vicinity. So can you log into the beginning of the monolith and then I run the whole thing and you get all the experience? Like, do you have to be able to stand next to me? Like, that's kind of the stuff that's going to take,
Right.
But if I'm level 100 and I take you into that level 50 or 55 monolith, I'm going to be killing things in one hit. So you should actually be able to stay alive. As long as I'm not leaving trash behind, right?
Just run ahead for 10 seconds. I'll be behind you.
And you don't get the experience of, level 100 or level 55. You get the experience of like 5 or 6 levels above, which is still, you're going to be bing, 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 bing.
Yeah. Hold on. We just finished that level. Let me get the next 10 levels kind of geared out. And then we'll go back in. If it's like that, they'll take away the need to play the campaign, and they have mentioned there will be ways to finish it once and then go back into it. If you want to ignore it, then go ahead and ignore it. So we'll see.
But that's what I'm thinking. Once I level one character, or once Guilty levels one character, now it's like, hey, Guilty, I want to make guides for the other 9. Like, can we spend a night streaming and you just get each character to level 70 for me? Not like he runs it. I'm behind him.
Right.
And now it's like, okay, now I've got every mastery level 70. I'll get the other 10 levels myself, and we're off to the races tonight.
That would be ideal. What would be more ideal, and it's something that I've been tossing around as an idea. No story at all. Just treat an ARPG. Just do the end game only. Skip all your narrative. No one cares. Just go straight into the meat and potatoes. There you go. It'd be like a roguelite.
It would be a rogue at that point.
It's a roguelite, but that's what the end game is.
I think it's just dangerous waters, though.
Players
will have opinions.
It'll be fine
about this type of
everybody has opinions. It'd be like, I love the story. Go read a book. Go read a book.
Well, at least you have to play it once and finish it. I think that might be a thing they work with. Which is not hard.
The Hugo Award-winning Path of Exile script.
But
what? You've never even played Path of Exile, so what would you know of the story?
Never seen it. What's that game?
Never.
Okay, we have 8 minutes left. Last Epoch took up a large portion, which is fine. Let's quickly move to our last section of this podcast. Everyone's favorite subject, Torchlight Infinite.
Oh no.
Which Guilty Rants has been making YouTube videos on. What's going on there, sir?
True.
He has.
The game's awesome. So being able to take 3 like multi-class 3 ways and then have another set of passives on top of that, on top of another set of passives, on top of another set of passives, and technically on top of 2 more sets of passives after that.
That's a lot of passives.
A lot of passives.
No, I enjoyed it.
Deep game.
The time
it's
I
a good
did
game.
play. A week and a half or whatever.
Yeah, it's like I've done a few build guides. I went minions. I've been making build guides for minions. I'm still awaiting the okay from Homeboy on
the team.
On the
Marshall?
one. Yes.
I don't deal with Marshall anymore.
Yeah, I know.
That's fine.
You deal with someone who's probably not living in the other side of the planet on a completely different schedule from me.
I think he's in Britain or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they're in a closer time zone than like my handler and Daft's handler is on the polar opposite side of the planet. So.
What we are talking about is my last Torchlight Infinite video did not paint a good light for the current monetization system. And it's close to 7,000 views, and I think it has 350 comments, and the comments are not very positive for the game. So right. I can't talk about it, but I now have my own liaison from XD that talks directly with me, and it can answer any questions. And if I have any problems, they want me to run it by them to see if they could clarify.
Right.
For the future.
Marshall said, "I'm done." He keeps on doing things I don't want him to do. I washed my hands of him.
I was really bad. Honestly, I'm normally never this bad, but I mean, I literally
Pretty bad.
broke every. Actually, I don't even want to say it out loud. There was
things that happened.
I'm not going to incriminate myself. I probably
Regardless,
didn't do the right thing.
you released information that they may not have liked the tone or color of, as far as how it painted them. So, yeah. That being said, you know,
What was the term? There's a term for it.
I didn't even get all those videos approved. I just posted.
That's correct.
He's so mad.
That was the first thing.
He's so
Marshall's
pissed
like,
off.
"Oh my God, what have I created? What have I done?"
He's like, hey, you're not allowed to post it a week before it launches, and I was still posting the video. Oh, he was so mad at me.
I'm a good boy, and I'm gonna continue to be a good boy. But yeah, the latest one, the latest video is a video that I kind of might be. It's not the same thing you were talking about, but it's the same subject matter in the game you're talking about. There's a thing in Torchlight where there's a pet system, a pack system.
yes.
And you can socket pets, and when you socket a pet, it changes the nodes that are on your pack system.
Yep.
And for instance, in my minions build, the entire upper right section is for minion percentage damage.
Garbage.
No, you need that for minions.
Well, for
And if
your
you
build,
socket something into it, it takes those away. Drop
for your build,
DPS.
it's great. My build, I had this. I don't do minions at all, but I have a minion pack. Like one of my, it's like minion focus, which does nothing for me. Period, except for like the resists and health, like mitigation to damage type things. That's the only things I use off them.
Daft, well then why don't you spend money to get a different pet?
Exactly, and that's what I was getting to. It's like I could, and I played it up to a certain point. I was like, okay, well, this is great, and I just worked with it. But if I wanted to like go all in, I could find that pet, but it's not easy, and I have to keep spending and getting luck to get the bonus one. But that doesn't mean the bonus cool one is one I want. That just means it's legendary, and then it has to fit my class. So it's just like
No, and that really is the nail on the head. Let's just say
that was my video.
Hey, Daft loves the game. The game was free. He wants to invest in them because you love the studio, whatever. I'm gonna get the 15 free pets from the in-game currency that I've earned, and then I'm gonna spend my own money on an additional 15 pets because I really want a legendary. And you use up all your freaking currency, and then you spend a bunch of money, and then your legendary pet pops out, and it's a minion pet that you don't want.
Still.
right.
That's where it sucks, because now now what do? I got to spend more money.
Right.
The pack system is bigger than the pets, and that was I consider my video the antithesis to his. The voice of reason, if you will. I have 2 pets socketed because the percent damage to minions is far superior to anything I pulled in a pet. The pets that I pulled, I pulled 3 packed pets or whatever they're called, packed spirit coins or whatever.
Boons,
I
boons.
did 3 pulls. Boons, that's what it is. I did 3 boon pulls. I pulled a rare on the video, and the 3rd pull ever in the game was a legendary. So I'm not batting bad in terms of that.
Right.
In terms of rarity. You don't need perfect pets to be able to play in the end game system. Like we're all in. I think all 3 of us are in end game now. I mean, maybe late end game it might make a difference, or like if you're trying to get deep top DPS in certain builds, whatever.
Right.
Running 2 pets is currently for me, because I haven't gotten any minion pets, the way to go. The other pet I'm running gives me a boost to experience, and then another pet gives me a boost to elemental resistances, which works great in endgame. And I've not spent a dime. I haven't even used all of my in-game pulls yet. I've only done 6 pulls.
I've respec'd my level 84 character 3 times, and now I'm out of currency and my character's dead.
I haven't respected anything. I haven't respected all.
Yeah, I haven't either. I started characters more than I respect.
Yeah, I just read ahead of what I wanted to do. Like, it turns out if you're going to run minions, there's not many different ways to run a minion build with the commander. There's a straightforward way.
Right. This is what happened with me is I found a couple good weapons that I wanted to use, and then I found the skill I wanted to use for it, and the skill was focused around raw damage and dot. And I was like, hey, let me try and make a damage over time build inside of Torchlight Infinite. So I freaking respec everything. I find the 3 trees that I want to use in the passives. I find the support skills that I want to use. Literally doing all this research. I'm on their freaking Discord getting questions answered, trying to figure out what ailment damage is and persistent damage is and how poison works and how all that fits together. And I'm literally like in the thick of it. And the build's done, and I got my skill and I got my support skills and I've got my passive trees done. And then I take it out and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I keep thinking, I'm like, why is this build so bad? I felt like I thought it was going to crush. This is why it was terrible. This is a good learning. Wait, 1 second. This is a good learning.
Yeah.
Inside of Torchlight Infinite, the maximum amount of dots or stacks you could put on an enemy is 5.
Yes. So the other night, Aaron, when I was playing my character and we were going over it, what was it like going over me with my characters? I did the whole frost mage thing, like full on. And initially I had some projectiles, but then all of a sudden I was the PBAOE, like point blank area effect kind of player where I like go right in and go boom, 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 and then move, go boom, 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 and then just kill everything around me. Which in this game was easy to kill bosses because you could just rotate around there,
let the beam do all the work.
Shot. Right. And it was fun because Aaron and I did that, and my character went from pretty good to like boom, 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 where I was jumping around, and now it's the same thing where like I could just build it. So like the potential in the game's great because there's so many different ways you can build your character based off of the skill trees and the point system, and then when we have all your boons and all these different things, there's so many different things that bring it up to the complexity of like a Path of Exile type thing where you're really thinking about it, but ultimately it's not as complex because your decisions, there's different things you're filling in, where in Path of Exile you literally have your main skills and your skills you go get when you go trying to do the gauntlet. You're trying to do this, but this you have like different synergies that you can work with that kind of work together, but there's so many different ways you can synergize them.
Yep.
That's the thing I like about this game, where you can have a pretty bad build, but you could also in the moment, if you're not past 75, fix it, right? Just talk to your buddy and they're like, oh, let me change these skills and do this, that, and the other. And
when I went to respec that build that I made, it cost so much currency I couldn't do it. So now I was trapped with a build that's not good. And so then what do I do? Spend money? No way. Like, not gonna do it. I'll wait till October 12th.
And that's the thing.
Yeah. So that's what I learned really quickly. I was like, if this game was designed like last Epoch, which of course it isn't, you could put, there's no maximum amount of stacks. You could put 10,000 stacks of poison on an enemy, and then whatever that damage over time number is, it'll be times 10,000. It didn't. It was one hit. I literally shot, it hit an enemy, instantly 5 stacks because my character was all into erosion and I used wilt. And but so it was useless. It's useless. Builds.
Yeah, you too much in the stacks. It was useless past 5.
Which doesn't make sense because that means dot in the game will always be a secondary or third damage type. It's like raw damage with great crit, and then I use a little bit of wilt to like take them down to the final number or something. But
hit them big and then they kind of die, and then you hit them again big and they get destroyed.
Things that can take the stacks and amplify the stacks.
Well, it's not only that, they have a system in the game. It's called Reap. And they said if you're going to go a dot build, you have to be able to reap the damage back. So it's like 5 stacks, then you reap those stacks out. 5 stacks and you reap it out. So there is a way to play Dot, but it is very different, which is good, right? Because I always try to give credit when a game tries to do something different than what's out there. And that's where I got screwed up because I tried to do a Dot build like every other Dot build. So that's where we're at.
Last Epoch Dot build.
Yeah, I try to do it like a last Epoch Dot build. We are over 90 minutes. I think that is going to do it tonight. Great conversation, guys.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I missed last week. It was my fault. I was camping.
Fine. We held down the fort, I think.
Thank you, guys.
If you go on the Patreon, episode 31 was recorded by Daft and myself. We also talked about last week's poll, which it's a 2-hour plus podcast that's on Patreon audio only. We went through what ARPG movie should be made. Obviously, you all voted for Diablo. Because
it was a fun one.
Why not?
Yeah.
Grim Dawn's the superior movie.
Grim Dawn came in second.
Yeah. It should have came in first. No, it came in third, didn't it?
I'll pull it up right now.
I think so. The Torchlight came in last. And I still we talked about it being similar to WeWorld, which is a Clive Barker book.
1.3 thousand votes. 1,300 votes. First place Diablo 63%. Second place Grim Dawn 20%.
Okay.
Third place Path of Exile with 12, and fourth place with 5% Torchlight.
I said Grim Dawn shouldn't even have been on there because I don't want to play through the story again.
Right, but as a series, Grim Dawn would be fantastic.
Oh man. We even went
now they're gonna restart the podcast and
we casted Diablo and we casted Grim Dawn. That's all.
Yes, there was,
and Johnny Depp was in both.
Yes,
both films.
Playing
that's true.
Playing the same character.
Oh no, Olgrim was he was Olgrim in Grim Dawn, and he was who was he in Diablo?
Oh, we put him in. It's one of the devils, didn't we?
He was one of the demons.
Who did you cast as Tyrael in Diablo?
I said okay. So we went to the guy that played Candyman, or Riddick.
The new Candyman? It's the same person.
No, the original. The original.
It's the same person.
Tony Todd. So
Yes.
Tony Todd or Lance Riddick from the voices of Allah from Destiny 2, and the guy that plays what's his face in the Resident Evil that was bad on Netflix.
Right. But it was a good talk. So if you're in Patreon, go check it out. If you haven't, if you're not, join the Patreon and
guilty for barbarian in Diablo, like a Batista.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Drax from Guardians.
So we didn't cast the actual heroes. We just cast the main demons, and we cast Cain. So we went with current Robert Englund for Cain.
Yes.
Sounds like a good conversation. All right, everyone. That's going to do it here for This Week in Action Podcast 32. As always, thank you all for coming and check it out. If you missed any part of this will be up on YouTube tomorrow. What we do now is for the bonus hours, we go basically film now for Patreon for an hour. And if you want to check out the Patreon, it is in the About section. It's in every YouTube video, and it's in the chat right now. We have a weekly blog post, weekly bonus hour of the podcast. You get into the VIP lounge in the Discord, you get a special title, and you get lots of other goodies based upon where you sign up at. It's the best way to support the channel financially moving forward. So thank you everybody that is currently a Patreon member. That's all we've got tonight. Daft, you get the final word. I got my finger on the button. Give me the thumbs up when you're done.
All right, guys, fantastic. It was a good week off. Now we have next week to come to, so let's see what we come up with this week, and I'll talk to you guys next week. That's it, Eric.